Okay, I think we're all set and ready. Let me just double check. Yep, no, everything looks good. Zoom you guys in just a little bit. Turn you just a touch. Don't get scared. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now, as you can see, this will be a almost literally every single step tutorial. What we did first, just to get a little bit of time out of the way, was we took our Bob Ross liquid white. It's a white oil blending medium that keeps the canvas wet for our wet on wet technique. I've answered that question about 5 times on the FB today in comments. People go, what is liquid white? I'm like, well, this is what it is. So I'm very ready to tell you what liquid white is today. We're gonna only be using between 5 and 6 colors. It's up to you, right? If you wanna use the crimson in your sky, you can. If not, that's okay too. We're gonna use our titanium white, our midnight black, ultramarine blue or Prussian blue, Van Dyke brown, and dark sienna brown in the smallest of amounts. You don't even need that much paint on the canvas, right? We won't even use anywhere close to all of this paint on this canvas. These seascapes are very little amount of paint, give you a really cool look. So we're gonna take our ultramarine blue or our Prussian blue onto our brush, and first I'm gonna show you how to test your old canvas and just make sure that there's the same amount of paint across the entire thing. And as you can see, it's this little small amount that's not even covering up our whole thing, right? You don't want to touch it and have it be all goopy. That's going to be way too much. Now, let's get up here and start dropping in that ice cold ultramarine blue. Boy, oh boy, it is fantastic. Look at this guy. Look at this guy in the night. Just wherever it wants to be. Now, I don't really want to go down past half of our canvas, right? If we get down too low past half, then it's going to force us to put everything else lower, and we're going to lose out on all of our sand. So, come over here with less paint on the brush because we've already been blending it and dropping it off in that other area. This will be a lighter color, as you can see. Darker where we first put on the paint, lighter where we then let it blend in with this liquid white the whole time, guys. It's blending in. It's wet. It's crazy boy up there. And all we're going to do is put a little bit of that blue color around the sides of the canvas. I always say at least finish the edges of your canvas with some color. It makes it look a little bit nicer and more completed versus just some white edges. Now, don't let that think that don't let you think that I paint every single edge of every single canvas. Sometimes we forget, and it's okay. It's okay. The sides don't need to be painted. It just makes it look a little cooler if you do. Now, can you see that little line in the center of the canvas right there? You guys ever run into that same issue right there? That is that beam, that wooden beam that sits back there. So if I can get my hand, see my hand's right here. It's like Alien coming out of the canvas. If I can push the canvas towards me out here and then blend across that little beam, and we're not like smushing the canvas forward, right? Just very lightly pushing it out with enough tension so that it doesn't touch that beam in the back. And that's again a question I've been asked multiple times over the last couple days. Is what do you do with that beam in the center? How do you get it to where I don't have a line in my painting? What is liquid white? All of these questions I've been answering over on the FB. That's where we get a lot of our comments and questions on all the reels. So if you're not following me over there, you should be. I don't know why you're not. Let's take a little bit of our black paint. I'm talking about the smallest bit. Barely any. Look, it's only on the one corner, right? So if we get a very small amount of our black paint onto the brush, and we're gonna decide that this side is already the darker side based off its bright blue coloration, right, versus the more faded blue. So let's take a little bit of our black, we'll drop it down like this, just let it crisscross. All right, we're gonna go across the center, pushing out on the canvas so I don't hit that beam, right? Blend it out this way. And of course, we don't want it to go all the way across our canvas. And if we can blend that bit of grayish black color down over the blue, you get this darker sky out there, you guys. Now, what if it keeps growing, Josh? Well, that means you have too much paint on the end of your brush. So we're gonna dab off the brush on a paper towel right here next to us. You can probably see it if you're watching on the bookie book. That's got a good angle to the table over here. And we're gonna start to go back and blend it again. Didn't wash it with the odorless mineral spirits, just dabbed off that excess paint. You ever get a hair in your canvas too? You can get it off just like that. I don't even know if you can see it. He's real tiny, but he was irritating me. All I have to do is come at it from the side and let one of the other bristles pick it up. I've been asked that question before as well. I've heard people are out there with Q-tips or tweezers trying to get the bristles out of the painting when you just literally just flick it away with the side of the brush. Now, as we mix in, like I said, all these colors are going to start looking the same. I want to have that brighter blue over here, the darker side of our forest of our sky on this side. Now, let me also show you, since I showed you the colors, we're only going to be using 4 tools today, okay? 2-inch brush, palette tool, medium-sized fan brush, doesn't matter the size, just a medium-sized one, maybe a little bit bigger than your finger. And then our liner brush to sign the painting at the end. It's literally a very limited palette, limited tool painting that you can do on your own, from home, right? You guys can do this stuff, I'm telling you, you can. What if we got a little bit more of our ultramarine blue, popped it up in here, just so it's a bit more vibrant in its bluiness. Right? I want it to be a bit more vibrantly blue up there, so we're gonna mix it down. Again, pushing out towards us from the back. I don't know if you can see my arm back there. Pushing out, and that way you get rid of that little center line from our stabilizing beam that's in the center of the canvas, right? Now, make sure you gotta check in, tell me where you're watching from out there. We're gonna take one of our 4 brushes that we're using today. Well, 3 brushes and a palette tool. So one of our 4 tools. And we're gonna get a lot of titanium white onto that brush. So much so that it's literally like chunky. It's holding all the bristles together, but it's also gunked on there, right? We're gonna go along our darker area, just kind of pushing and mushing, and eventually the brush will turn blue, right, versus its white side. So in midway, we gotta turn the brush over, depositing a whole bunch more paint, and just let it go, right? How far do you want to let it go up into your sky? Totally up to you. Now, as you can see, there's brighter areas with thicker areas of paint, thinner and more dim areas with less areas of paint, and some areas that are very thin, some are very heavy, all up to us, right? I know that when I start mixing this, it's going to pick up this color underneath and give me my shadow. So if I want it to stay bright white, perhaps we add a little bit more paint onto the canvas, and then just literally mush it out, right? That almost looks like a cloud right now. Without even doing anything, that looks like a cloud out there, right? Except that weird spot. Now I like it. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back and we're gonna dab off our brush, big old 2-inch brush. Remember, we're not using any other tools. We're gonna get you used to this big old 2-inch brush, right? Angle it down at the canvas so you're only grabbing the top. You see how the top is moving, but the bottom of the bristles are not moving? And as we do that, it's going to start to mix in with that bluish, grayish color. Now, the more I get down here, the more I'm pushing in. So I'm getting more bristles to blend the white out with the blue. Up here, very lightly, barely even touching it, because I don't want the white to dissipate and disappear all the way. Down here, I do. I'm gonna push it so hard that it makes it fade away into the night. Yeah! So, tell me where you're watching from out there. The less you touch it, the whiter it's going to stay, right? The more you touch it, the more it's going to blend in and disappear. And then remember, the clouds are in the background. They are far, far, far away. Far away, right? So we can mess them up so they're not so noticeable, not so bright. That's going to help your eye go, oh cool, there's clouds out there, but they must be really distant because we can't see too many details. That way, everyone will focus right here on our crashing waves. We do these things for a reason, guys. So unless you're painting an entire canvas full of clouds, you don't need them to be so detailed. So stop worrying about them so much. Please, just throw some white out there, let it go. Now let's say, Josh, it's a little bit too dark, or maybe I can't see my cloud, whatever. Okay, come back in. We know we got our bright area, so let's split it. All right, stay away down into this darker area down here. Over there. Over here, pop out a whole nother little bit. See how we've left that disconnection, that darker color, so that this white and this white do not look like the same cloud. There has to be a bit of separation in there. Okay, so we'll get in here very light along the top, because I have to touch the paint. I have to go over it a couple times, so it doesn't just look like a fan brush line of paint up there. All right, so we go over it a couple times, and then harder on the bottom to make it disappear. Isn't that the coolest thing? Remembering that the clouds are somewhere far away into the background. So that spot was too bright, it was irritating me too much. So we'll just blend it away with our sky. Boom, right? Give her that little silly beam back there. Now we're gonna do the hardest thing that anyone has ever asked you to do, and that's draw a straight line with a paintbrush, okay? So we're gonna take a a little bit of our black, a little bit of our blue, so we get a very dark color onto the brush that already had color on it. We haven't washed anything, just been dabbing it off on a paper towel. Now we need to decide, if I put it down here and leave that white line, that's not gonna look good. If I come way up here into my clouds with my sky, with my water, that's not gonna look good, right? So you gotta judge how much of this dark color is underneath your floating clouds out there on your sea. And we're gonna go across, and then you guys just let me know, do you think this is a straight horizon? Yes or no? Just a level horizon out there. Yes or no, you tell me, because sometimes I can't see it. I'm on this angle over here, which makes it look straight to me. But to you guys, it'll be like this, right? So let me know if it's flat, if it's level, if it is a horizon. Because to me, again, it looks like it's going down. Raise this level up a little bit. And some of our cameras are sitting at it from an angle, right? So again, it may look level until you go put it up on the wall and look at it and you're like, why is the whole thing like this? Very cool. Okay, I like that a bit better. Can't we just get it a little taller over there? On the right. There. I like it, guys. I like it. Remember, blend out that little guy. Now we're using blue and black, and we also use blue and black in our sky. So if it gets up a little bit too tall, you can wipe off your brush and then come back in there and blend out your sky. But I really like how that one's looking, you guys. Now, the bigger section of blue, dark blue back ocean water that you paint, the bigger you're gonna wanna make your waves, okay? So let's dab off our brush again on a paper towel. It's like we're knocking at the door. No, no one's here. Don't worry, no one's here. We're just trying to knock off some of that paint. So now it's not so dark on the brush anymore, right? We can see that lighter blue color is still in there. There's still paint on the brush, but it's not as dark of a mix anymore. All right, so now I'll go back into my ultramarine blue. Let's get a little bit of that blue, just so it's, again, a brighter color. We're gonna come down underneath here. There we go. So the more we mix it in with that liquid white, having a very light bit of paint, right, the lighter it will be. So the more you mix it, the more it will fade into a lighter color. The more we go across it, the more the little streaks will disappear, the more it will intermix in with our darker color back there. So you have to be the judge about what you want it to look like. Now, if we're doing a certain scene, right, and our scene today is basically crashing straight toward us, so it doesn't really matter, but we're gonna have this slight angle going down, or we could, you know what, let's change it up. We did that on the other one. Let's change it up and we'll go this side. I want my left side to be a little bit lower and my right side to be a little bit higher. Now what I can do is adjust this up by taking our sand and putting our brown sand in, right? And then we'll actually paint something that looks like some water. I promise, don't leave, okay? Now we need to get a little bit of our brown, just a little touch, of both the brown colors. I don't want to have too much, right? Barely even see it on the brush down there. There's barely any paint right there. That's perfect. Because if it's too dark brown, when I very first put it onto my painting, it's gonna look like a very Oregon coast, very dark brown bit of sand, right? And even though it's mixing in with that liquid white, on our canvas, we're gonna come up a little bit higher up here on our right-hand side to help this side look further away and this side look closer on this painting. Okay, so even though it's mixing in with the liquid white, it's not gonna be that bright if you put on too much dark brown. And so we've left this gap in the center. That is so they can grow together, but maybe I want a little bit more of my dark sienna to give it a little bit more of that brown, right? The Van Dyke brown kind of is a very pale brown, and the dark sienna is more of a rich brown color. So again, depends on what you want to do. You can see how far we've come up into that blue section, and now we're on this downward angle down. So I can set my big palette down. And now I can use this liquid white area that is still wet in the center of the canvas, right? It's our oil blending medium that has covered the entire canvas and made all these paints nice and slidable, we'll say, right? That's the secret ingredient, is this liquid white stuff, okay? And then we're gonna push out away from our canvas, out towards me, so I'm not hitting that center beam anymore. Right? I don't know if you guys had thought about that. Like, it's the first thing I did when I tried, and I saw that beam. I was like, well, if I push away against it, then I won't have that. But people ask me all the time, so we like to tell you everything, literally everything that we do. So I hold no secrets, I gatekeep nothing, and you guys know exactly what I know. Look at that, I know, like a cool little ocean scene already. Isn't it just fantastic? Look at how much sand we're gonna have in this whole thing. If we can keep our waves small. If they get big, that's okay. We got a lot of room in the front, okay? Again, dab off your brush after every time you use it. Just dab it off on a paper towel, and that way it'll at least be cleanish by the time that we go to use it again. And now, are you ready to paint a painting that you can actually see what's going on back there? Even though that's very cool, right? We're gonna throw a lot of details into it, okay? So, in a way, a little area that kind of bled over into my sky, just the smallest little touch. But because we're using blue and black here and blue and black here, you can blend them away very easily. Now let's take our white paint, we're gonna pull it out, trying to wipe off the blade, okay? Then we'll come in here, scrape up a little roll of that paint, just right there, now you can see it, just a small little roll out there, okay? I wanna drop down about a 1/4 inch away from the top of my horizon. And as we get this way, we're gonna get taller, closer up to the horizon, okay? As we go down this way, we're gonna get further and further away from our horizon, getting lower and lower and lower. And as you can see, looks like waves rolling in already, right? Out there like that. Very cool, very easy. Now, because there's such a gap back there, we have to come in and take a little bit of this white paint and kind of fill that gap. We do not want all the white to go back and just touch the back of the horizon. It's never like that out on the ocean, guys. The waves only start becoming waves once they get in close. Everything out on the back is just softly floating. So don't make all of your white caps way the heck off in the distance, okay? Now, let's come in here and let's decide. This whole side is already crashed, all that stuff, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little touch of paint. We're gonna come up here and just kind of touch it along the edge, just so we can leave a little ridge. Right, almost like a little suction cup. If we come up here and show you close, be like this. Pull it away and you get that little ridge stuck right there because the paint wants to stick to itself, right? This oil paint, they all want to stick to themselves until they start getting too heavy, and then they don't want to stick to themselves. It's like a magic trick. Out here, remember, all this stuff is already crashed, but we're not just going to pull straight down. We're going to go to the edge, to the bottom corner. Yeah, over to the side. It's not straight down. Over to the side. Over the side, over the side. Now we're getting less over to the side and more of a straight down pull as we get closer into us. Right? Each one of these times you do these waves, you can do it however you want. Right? You can pull it here, you can pull it straight down, you can do whatever. Seriously, I was out there looking at them. Let's start on this side. We're going to go over here a little bit off to the other side. And then again, we're just going to meet them in the center. And the majority of all of these details get lost, you guys. They don't even show up when we go to do the painting, okay? They're not even there. So don't trip. Don't worry about all these little things. People try to do this too much. You end up putting on too much paint. You're like, oh, it won't break the way it's supposed to. It's okay, just give us till the next little step and you'll see that you don't have to have all these little watery details and just how much of this will disappear by the time we do our next step, okay? Now, let's come in. We're gonna wipe off our brush again on a paper towel. Have not washed it once, so it's got a little bit of a blue hue to it, but there's not a lot of paint on the brush, okay? We're gonna go into our liquid white. Like I was saying before, watch this. The liquid white is a very flippy, watery paint in comparison to the titanium white. We need to have a little of each. You cannot use one nor the other on their own. You have to have a little of both. We're just trying to make it soppy in there just a little bit, okay? Out here, remember, all that stuff was all humongously huge, so why don't we get in here? I'm just gonna start smacking at the canvas like this. Out here, like I said, bang, we're way up over our horizon even. All this stuff is already hit. It's gonna grow out that way. Now, you may be looking at it thinking, that doesn't look like waves. Give me a second, we do it twice and we brush it out in between. So don't go anywhere, like I said. You gotta sit here and trust the process. Come down here, so we're leaving a small amount of gap in between some of these areas, because not every time the waves are just crashing right down onto their own selves, okay? Come back, get a little bit more of our liquid white. I'm telling you, trust the process. Trust it. You have to. We don't have 2.3 or 4 million followers for no reason. We have them because people trust in the process and watch these little paintings come to life, right? Now, as you can see, we've come up over our horizon, come up over our horizon over here, so it's making a very slight little U shape, and it doesn't even have to be perfect, honestly. We're just smacking the canvas with that wetter version of paint, okay? Now, here's where you might want to switch to a 1-inch brush because it may be a little bit easier, but we're going to use the big old monster 2-inch. Okay, we're going to come out here, and because this paint is even more wet and more soft and more movable than this paint was making our cloud. We're gonna touch it even softer, okay? We do not want to brush it out. If it brushes out immediately and it's gone, right, then you don't have the correct amount. You have too much liquid white and you need more titanium white. If you come up here where it's hard to stick to the canvas, then you've got too much titanium white in your mix and you need to mix a little bit more liquid white in there. It's all about the right mixture. Let's start to look more like waves. Let's do it one more time. Okay, we'll come out here. A little bit of our liquid white, a little bit of our titanium white. And remember, you can grab this painting if you go to my site over there. You can find it, okay? Anywhere down here, we don't want to get into our sand, right? So we're trying to save a bit of that blue area, so let's not get too big. Come in here, maybe we'll do it a couple less times, right? We don't care too much the second time about what it's going to look like. Boom, boom. All we're looking for is that extra layer of light color that's going to allow us to have a couple little shadows in there. Seriously. If your canvas was black, like you did your black gesso like we do sometimes, it'd be so much easier to see all these little things, right? And for you to mix it out. But not everybody likes the black gesso, and I'm with you. I did not use black gesso for the first 2 years of painting because I didn't know what it was, and I was too ashamed to ask somebody what it was or how to use it, right? Now, in here, even lighter than before. So we're just touching, kind of filling in some extra spaces, leaving little things out there. Very light because it's got that liquid white in it. It wants to grow extremely far, okay? Up into here, up into there. You can even let it mix in with your backwater area a little bit. It's all up to us, guys. Seriously, every time you go to do it is another chance to do it a little bit differently, right? And then when we come in and we splash all of these crazy little things, and we're gonna add a few more details right here. All these crazy little speckles in when we go to do our watery spray. That's when it really stands out. When you're doing your speckles, it really starts looking like water. So don't worry about it too much. Get out there towards the edge. It's just hard to see. Maybe we need a little bit more out there. Just a couple little specks is all we have. Little taps, little things, little here, little there, right? Growing out, and then we can come down or down this way. It all depends on how we feel like doing it, right? When we go to make it. Now, let's take our liquid white, again, very runny paint, plus your titanium white in a 90 to 10 mix, okay? So we have about 90% liquid white, 10% titanium white. We'll come over here, flatten it out, all crazy, scoop it up, there we go. Nice and flat, right? Wipe off our blade so there's nothing on there, and then you guys just do one thing for me. Just check in, tell me where you're watching from. That's all you gotta do. Just where are you from out there? Where are you from in the world? We're gonna start a little higher, stay in that blue area, and work our way down. Again, staying into the blue area, even way down here if we want to. Or we can up and around and make it look like it's a fisheye lens effect, right? Come out here, let's start up in the waves, okay? Start smushing back and forth, just like that. Dragging it downward, pushing it hard enough to force the paint out into that little lip out there on the edge, right? Now, the further out that you have further down that you have your lip, the further your water is going to roll into your scene. So what we're doing is we're just kind of cutting it in like little 1/4 inch cuts at a time. Going back over hard enough to push that paint ridge out onto the front, okay? Now, it doesn't just have to keep coming out like that. You can go back in, you can dip down again, right? Again, all up to how you want your waves to look every time. They're so personable, you guys. It doesn't have to look like mine. It doesn't have to do anything. Maybe we come out a little further, in fact. How about that? Right? It doesn't have to do anything of the sort. It's whatever yours is looking like is how yours is going to look. Again, it's liquid white, which is our base coat blending medium for the canvas, and the titanium white mixed in together. Now, as we get a bigger gap right here, start from the side and go very slightly up, right? That's how you're going to reach these areas. You do not want to go up this way or up this way. It's just not going to work, right? It's going to make it look strange. So we want to, if we want to reach a spot way back here, we have to find its level spot over here, start there, and then deposit that paint, right? All up to us. Now, we cannot make it all white. So you have to leave some spaces of that lighter blue color or your sandy color or whatever. Right? It doesn't have to be perfect. We just don't want it to be all white. If it's all white, we're not gonna be able to tell the difference between any part of it. Come out down there. We're gonna need a little bit more of our liquid white paint because we seem to be running out. Get a little bit of our titanium white. Like I said, it's a 90-10 mix. So get it down there, 90-10 it. All right, scrape it up. Come back over here. And all we're doing, again, just horizontally scraping with this edge being our flat edge. We're just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. At this moment, if you wanted to, because I see a lot of people that do this, they put their finger, especially when we're doing mountains, they put their finger right up here on the blade and they try to like bend it, right? If you want to do it like that and put a lot of pressure, do it, right? This is the time to push and get all that pressure out, right? On your mountains, do not. That's when you do not want to push too hard. Okay, the more we get back here and smooshing around, the more it starts looking like little bits of waves, you guys. Even up in and underneath and around and down and wherever. You can change it up every time that you go to do it. You can change it. It can be different. It can look a certain way here or there or whatever. And you just want it to be a mess. That's literally it. It's my tagline. It's on my Paint with Josh sticker. It says, Paint with Josh, make a mess, right? Because that's what we do. We make a mess and we show you how to make a mess look cool. Right now, let's make our wet, sandy, beachy area, and then we'll throw in all sorts of little speckly sprays. And in the meantime, actually, since we're right here and we've got the palette tool, let's take our liquid white, tapping it onto the edge of the palette tool. It's a very wet medium, and as we flick off onto our waves, we're going to start throwing out tons of little white speckles, and they're going to look like water, guys. I'm telling you. So, make sure your brush is clean. This is the first time we've cleaned our fan brush since we've started. Okay, you need to have a clean, dry brush. Come out here with that liquid white, start launching it. The more that you have on your little palette tool, or the more that you have on your brush, the more it's going to launch paint everywhere, right? It could be enormous specks. Or, if you have too much paint, you could get a big drag or a big streak, right? That's from having too much paint in your brush and too much paint on your tool. Okay? All sorts of different things happen when you do them differently. Isn't that amazing? Like, wouldn't you know, just don't you know, as we go up like this, you know, they're throwing them up into the sky. Right? These guys have already splashed and poosh, poo, hit all that crazy stuff. Right? Again, the more you toss at it, the more we're going to cover that backwater area, which I told you no one was going to pay attention to anyway. Didn't I say that? Didn't I say you're going to end up losing a lot of that, and it's okay if you do. More little specks, especially the bigger ones that you can put out there, the closer it's going to look. It's hitting, throwing water out at our faces. Now, we need to get a little touch of our titanium white, and in this instance, we're using our Master's Touch titanium white. Danny from Happily Painted Studios gave me this tube, and it's awesome. It's a little bit wetter than the Bob Ross brand, so it's not as thick. It all depends on the tube, though. You know what I mean? Just could be a wet tube from the manufacturer. You just want them as thick as physically possible. That's the kind of consistency that we're going for on these paintings, okay? Now, again, let's take that liquid white, which is liquid for, they call it liquid white for a reason. You see it dripping? Our titanium white would never, ever, ever drip like that. Not in a million years. Let's take 10% titanium white to 90% liquid white. Come down here and mix up the ratio. Gotta have the right ratio. And then we'll get down underneath. And there's only one way to mess this part up. Does anybody know the one way to mess this part of the painting up? I mean, it looks like we're messing it up right now, but we're not. Trust the process, okay? What's the one way that we're gonna mess up this painting from this moment forth? Okay? There's only one way to do it. Because from this moment forward, we're literally going to brush down, brush to the side, and then speckle in our sandy specks. And you can't mess that part up. So, what's the only way that we're going to screw this up right here for us? Hey, anybody out there know? Getting rid of the shit, not leaving a dark space, not using enough. Okay, right. If the lines touch, good. 3 out of 4 of you got it correct. If these lines touch, if this white touches this other white, then we're not going to be able to tell them apart, right? We will not be able to tell a difference between the waves and the sand. And that's only if we allow them to touch, because they are literally the same color and the same wetness, right? So if you get up there and grip it, you're gonna be in trouble, right? And all it is leaving that fine little line of shadowy difference right? Sure, it's a little darker in some places, a little bit not in other places, but it's just different. That's the thing. If it's all the same, we've been saying it for ages now. It's all the same, you're never gonna be able to tell the difference. We need a little dark separator. You can see how we've got more paint on this side. We're pulling it down further anyway, less on that side. Does not have to be perfect. And then we're gonna go very, very light. I'm talking about so light, right? So lightly. And then I'm gonna ask you guys, does this look like wet sandy beach? We go more and more and more pressure over here. All right, so just tell me, does this look like a beach? If not, or a wet sandy beach. If it doesn't look like wet sand, you tell me what you think it looks like. And remember, do not touch the other top of the wave. All right? So what do you think it looks like out there? Let me know. A lot of the times we get waterfall or a cliff or a ledge or something, right? Kind of looks like a waterfall. I feel you. Thank you guys for being here. Right? Now, let's take all those little streaky poos, vertical streaky poos. Streaky poo? And then, I mean, I don't want a streaky poo. You guys could have one. And we're going to pull it to the side, away from our waves, and then blend out all these little excess verticalities down here until you have a shinier section of water, just about as tall as we had that little layer of stuff, right? Now again, we're going to come out here with our liquid white and our titanium white. Very small amount. You don't need it to be giantly thick. All right, we're going to start out here, start scraping in and pushing real hard. And the harder we push, the more it's going to force that paint out of the end of the blade, and it's going to leave a little ridge, again, out on the front, just like we did back here. Now, this is not straight, okay? I'm pushing it slightly on an angle like this, forcing it to fall out of the back. See how the more I push, the more the blade goes vertical like that, okay? That's only to help the paint fall out of the back of the blade. And if I don't have enough, it won't continue to fall out of the back. So I gotta continually go back, get a little bit more, push a little bit harder, turn it so I can get that paint to fall off. See how there's still some hidden in there? It doesn't want to come off, guys. So you gotta push real hard. All right, again, get lower and lower and lower as we're making this little triangle of sand. Okay, turn it, bang, excellent. Now, any little things that we put in here as far as details, right, are going to ruin the effect of having that supremely wet, reflective, shiny area, okay? That doesn't mean that you can't do anything. You gotta put something. Just don't put too many. Literally, a couple little scrapes. Literally, look at it. You don't need much else. Go back to our same fan brush. We're going to drag. Now, in your brain, okay, you can already feel your brain right here. Your brain wants to make this connect like this. If not like this, at least like that. Your brain wants to go, oh, cool. I just pull these up to meet my wave. No, don't do that, please. Pull them to the side, okay? So that guy, he's gotta go to the side. Side, 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 side. See how we're pulling them absolutely horizontal? We are not going up at the wave. We're not going like this. Absolutely horizontally to the side, okay? You cannot pull it any other way. Man, that looks cool. Now, we're gonna finish by shrinking this little separation right here and then speckling in our sand, and then I need you guys to tell me what to call this painting. We need to come up with a title for it. So, if you can, start thinking about a title suggestion that you would want to name this painting. And we're going to be looking at all three platforms, so write it out. And again, 90, 10, 90, 10, 90, 10. Now, I've had a virtual student and a couple other people ask when you use the 90-10 ratio, right? And when you're using the 90-10, because up in our clouds, it's 100% titanium white. Back in the ocean, 100% titanium white. This falling over bit, 100% titanium white. Then you go to 50-50 right here, and then 90-10 from below, okay? You don't want to do your 90-10 too soon, because then it's going to be really wet up here when you don't want that to happen, okay? Just telling you. Now, what we're going to do is, again, take that little 90-10 mix, and we're going to shrink down our separation, trying to make it very small, right? The smaller the little separation, the more realistic it's going to be. If you have this huge gap, it's going to look like a ridiculously large shadow underneath your wave, which isn't going to make any sense, right? Because this is just a very small amount of water that's out in front of our wave. It's not even an inch thick, so it should not have a thick shadow, okay? The more paint that you put up here, the whiter it's going to be. The wetter it's going to become as well, right? And some of the times it can get too wet, and then it doesn't want to drop off onto its own wet self. Just like if the paint is too thick, it doesn't want to deposit onto its own thick self. Okay, so don't get too wild. Don't get too crazy, man. You guys can do whatever you want to do, but don't get friggin' nuts out there. And then be like, why didn't it work? Well, Josh told you. Little separation, those little things. Oh man, is that not fabulous? Okay, now all we have to do is speckle in our sand. Have you ever seen the sand technique? You want to know why Paint with Josh sand comes out so much better than everyone else's? I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to show you so you know, and you can also do it. Crystal Beach, that's cool. That's cool. Waves of life. I like that. Yes! Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to use our black paint and our dark sienna brown, which is the lighter color brown, and then our liquid white. And we're going to need to make them very watery. How are we going to do that, guys? Class, how are we going to make those very thick, supreme, like cake icing paints? Just got paint on my shirt. Dang it! Okay, how are we going to make these thicker paints? Thinner? We're going to use paint thinner, exactly. We're going to try to wipe off this paint off my shirt. Man, literally got this shirt at Mount Hood. We're going to be teaching classes up at Mount Hood. I guess it's a good segue. We're going to be teaching classes out at Mount Hood, 2 classes on the 28th, and got paint on my shirt. So, let's get over here. What was I doing? Oh yeah, we're going to grab our paint thinner, okay, out of our bucket. Now, as you can see, I dipped in the brush, I cleaned it off, I smacked it against my thing, and it is not dripping paint thinner, but look at how wet it is. There is still a lot of paint thinner in this brush, okay? We don't need a lot, we just needed enough as we tap on to our palette right here. See how the palette's getting very shiny in that area right there? And see the shiny, there it is, you can see the reflective change right there. Right? That is the very wet, watery paint. Everything else is our oil paint, okay? If you have too much thinner and not enough paint, you're just gonna flick specks that are gonna try to make the painting get ruined, okay? Always try it on a different place before you come out here and do it. That way you'll see how much is on. So like if we came down here and we flicked at it, okay, I saw a couple specks go on. They weren't too big, they weren't too globby. So I'm gonna come out here, I'm gonna back up about 6 to 8 inches away, and I'm going to start flicking. I'm going to move. You do not want to stay in the same spot. Do not stay in the same spot when you're there. You're just going to put on way too many little bits. And as you can see, we've got a little speckle of black. Now, we're going to go to our brown color next. Again, small dip in. Then I literally smacked the brush on the side of my paint thinner. So again, there's not too much. Again, not even dripping. That indicates that there is not too much. I'm going to come over here. If you start seeing a big bead like roll down like water, you know you've got way too much paint thinner in your brush. Tapping into the base part down here, not the thick fat part. The part we've already brushed out. It's very thin, right? Just need a little bit of paint, you guys. If we get too much, we're gonna be hosed. It's gonna ruin our painting. Again, clean off the blade. If you're a lefty, you don't want to be doing it this way, where you're tapping it onto this side, and then God, that feels so strange, but to you it must feel perfect, right? Drag it off that way and go across your painting. For us right-handers, we're going to tap it onto this side with the point of the blade facing the top. Again, test it in an inconspicuous area. Okay, cool. Start off on our bigger place and start specking in a couple more. You don't want to overdo the dark specks. We're going to see the brown and the black if you look close enough, okay? If not, it's just going to look like sand no matter what. And this is when it really starts happening. So I would call that gravel as of right now, right? Looks a little rocky, looks a little crazy, right? So when we come in here with our liquid white, which again is our watery, speckly spray bits, it's the base coat for the canvas, okay? We come in there like that, and we tap it along the edge, and again, test it in a non-disclosed location, okay? Come out here and start flicking on your little white speckers. And as soon as you start doing that, it starts looking like sand. Now, what happens if you get them up inside here? They start looking like bubbles. I'll do it purposely. Looks like bubbles floating back on the top little bit of that water. Now, the more little bits of sand that you can flick on. All right, I'm just going to focus on this one area right here. Versus this side, it has less. Which one looks more realistic? Right? The more you can do, to me, the better it's gonna look. So we'll come over here, start flicking on more of these little sandy bits, little sandy specks. I've already got this whole side. Come down over here and get a little closer. Try to get the paint to come off of the brush, right? We're only using the smallest little bit to begin with. So if it takes you a couple times going back and loading up your brush to make it look like that, then that's okay, because we're just using a very small amount. But doesn't that look like sand, you guys? All those little white specks out there, they just literally make the sand come to life. It's amazing. Quite honestly, amazing. Honestly, amazing, you guys. We're gonna come over here. I'm gonna make these guys a little bit bigger. In the front down here, maybe there's a whole other bit of crashing action. There. We can come back in and change and do whatever the heck we want to do, you guys. Honestly, come back in, right? Blast them up there. Back with our little 2-inch. Mix them together just a little bit. There we go. Then go back in with our little sandy, speckly sprays of our just liquid white, pure liquid white. Launch into that spot. Got as many of them as we want, as few of them as we want, and then we get to decide what it looks like when it's done, and then you'll never even see that we added more if you can spray out or spray on enough of those little specks. It literally covers up, hey, right there, right? It covers up that whole little thing that we added. All up to us, guys. We're in control. We get to do what we want to do. We go in, we paint, we go in. Look at that, dude. Tell me that's not cool. A little Road Warrior reference. We go in, we paint. Oh, man. Okay. Now, you guys are going to start coming up with a title. I'm going to throw on the last little detail, which is our Paint with Josh 3-bird family that flies through every painting that has ever been nor will ever be. Up in here, right? I take our maul stick, which is just a yardstick, just a meter long, a 3-foot long yardstick. And I'm gonna come out here, basically leaving a gap in between the canvas and the stick, and then I can rest my hand right here, and then go make very fine little little details out there, without having to float and push too hard or not push hard enough, right? Very cool, you guys. So, you come up with a title, let me know what we're gonna call this bad boy, and I'm gonna come down shop, throw in the old JK-ery in the night. Fabulous. Okay, let's wash these brushes off. You guys come up with a title. Remember, if you purchase it during the show, you get to pick the title forever, and you get a free gift off the Spinny Winnie Wheel, which is gonna be fantastic. So, head over there, check it out, be the first one, otherwise it'll be gone, I'm telling you. It may already be gone. I might be talking out of my own rear, because I am using all 3 of my devices, and I don't know if it has found a new home or not. Until we look back here. Yep, right there. Airy fairy in the house, telling you that this painting is available if you just go check out my site, Paint with Josh. That's all you have to go to, right? Head over there. It's gonna be the very first thing that you see by the time you get over there. Isn't that amazing? 42 minutes, you guys. 42 minutes from start to finish, and we were going slow. Slow, 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 man. So, what do we got here, guys? Dude, and it's painting number 2050. That's insane that we've done that many paintings. 2050 paintings. Incredible. Legit incredible. So, you guys let me know what we're gonna call it, and then we'll choose from the names in the comments. Man, that one came out so neat, you guys. So fantastically fantastic. Whispering Waves. Do I like Bob Ross? Yes, Bob was my grandpa's cousin, believe it or not. And we didn't even figure that out until I had already been painting for 4 years and figured out that Bob was my grandpa's cousin. Of course, everyone loves Bob Ross. What kind of a question is that? Tidal Retreat, The Big Splash. Crystal Ocean. Remember, if someone purchases this one during the show, we get to have a light party on it, which is going to look really cool. And if not, then I guess we don't get to have a light party on it, and then that's okay. That's okay. Ocean Mist, Sky is the Limit. That's really... Hello! Somebody just placed an order. I'm literally looking at it right there, you guys. That means we get to have a light party! Boom! Cha-ching! I love it, you guys. Oh, this one just came out fantastic. So, I have no idea who actually got it. I'm going to have to double check. Actually, London is here. Maybe London can check the name for me real quick. Hang on, let me just quickly ask. London, can you check and see the name of the person that just put the order for this thing? What it is? Because I'm using all 3 devices, so I can't. And then I'll be able to know who it is exactly. Guys, what an awesome thing. I love having London here too. It's right in the back. And even though I went in and interrupted what she's doing, she's such a nice person that she's going to drop what she's doing and look at the thing for me because I can't. So, if you grab this one, let me know in the comments below. Let me know who got it. Bird Whisp. I like that. Boom, ba-boom. Whispering Winds is wicked. And remember, if you purchased it, you get to choose the title forever. So we have to know who you are. Otherwise, how are we going to know who to choose? Anita, is it Anita?
Yeah, are you psychic?
Oh, no, she just said it was me, but I was just double checking.
That's never right. We verify with zip codes. Last 2 numbers.
That's true, but if it is Anita and it says Anita on here, then we do. Did you hear what I said about you?
No.
I said I probably came in and interrupted London, but she's so nice and sweet that she's going to look it for me real quick since I can't.
Oh.
So thank you, you're awesome.
I try. I'm going back to be unawesome.
Okay.
Let me know if you need me to
Be awesome again?
be awesome.
Okay.
Okay,
bye. So, Anita, it was you. You get to choose the title of the painting. So, there's been lots of title suggestions. Tell us which one of those you want to pick or choose your own. And the mods will pin it. Be sure it is spelled correctly. And it is actually the one that you want it to be. Not like, oh, maybe this would make, because whatever I look and I see it, I'm going to put it on the back of the painting. So you get to pick, and in the meantime, while she's choosing a painting, or choosing a title for the painting, we're going to do a light party. So here's your flash warning, okay? If you're sensitive to light, I know it's hard, but don't look at your phone for the next 30 seconds, because it's going to be light flashing like crazy in here, like the club. So, if you are going to stay for the light party, type in the words, I'm ready, and then hit send, and then keep your thumbs right there, and tell me the first thing that flashes for you, right? If, and as soon as we see enough I'm ready's in the comments, we're gonna hit the light party. So, let's count it down for everybody. We're gonna do it in 3, 2, 1. Light party! So, what's flashing? What's catching your eye the most? What is it out there that's catching your eye and going, wow, that's just looking nice? Type it in the comments now. Let's see, and we're gonna bring it down in 3, 2, 1. We're back to normal lighting conditions. So if you are sensitive to light, you may now look back at the screen. It is okay. It's okay, right? Surfside, I like that. Awesome title. We're gonna call it Surfside. So saith Anita, who grabbed this painting. We appreciate you so much. Over here, over there, perfection. The top all done up. This one literally came out amazing. A nice big canvas too. We got some, well, we got some actually, every canvas that we got today was actually smaller than this one. But I got some little small 14 by 14 inch canvases that we're gonna be doing on TikTok. We may do 2 per show, knocking off for real cheap, and it's gonna fit some more of our smaller stencils, right? So some of these stencils that we have available are not very large, right? They wouldn't take up a whole lot of space on a canvas that size. So we got little canvases, little squares that we can do that are gonna fill up the whole thing, right? Other than that, that's the stuff that we got today. Number 2050. Calling it Surfside, right? Surfside. Thank you guys for keeping it pinned long enough for me to actually look at it. And this one was painted on 9/12/2012. We're all going to go to Paint with Josh. And then you put the little dot and then the 3 letters at the end that you got to put when you go to anywhere on the interweb. Whoop! There we go. Perfection, you guys. Amazing painting. Awesome tutorial. I can't wait to see your guys' versions of said awesome painting. And there's a quick and easy way to show me your painting, and that's by sending it to me on the Book of Faces over there, right? You guys over there. And in order to find me on the book, you have to put the little @ symbol and then type in official Paint with Josh, right? So either that or on my IG, which is Paint with Josh K, the same as my TikTok page, @Paint with Josh K. You can find me on the tube @Paint with Josh. And I can't wait, honestly, to see your guys' versions. You guys don't go anywhere. Don't leave. None of you guys leave. You guys take a hike. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I never like the tutorials to run too long. And then we do a lot of filibustering and talking over on TikTok because it literally just disappears. It doesn't stay around and clog up my page, right? So I love you guys over on the Book of Faces and on the Tuby Tubes. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. The rest of a good day and boosh. Man, I say that literally every time. I try not to, but it just sneaks its way out of me, and I cannot help it.